There's fishing bobbers for any type of fishing you want to do. And today, we're going over some bobber hacks that'll make you a better fisherman, that will save you money, and hacks that you just need to know. So stick around. You still here? Good, let's get started. Bobber hack number 1. On this hack right here, get you a regular bobber, like one of these right here. Then get you some BBs. These are just regular BBs for a BB gun. Get you one of these drop gauges for a drill bit, and you can take your BB and you can figure out which hole it fits through. Then you'll know which drill bit to use. Well, take the drill bit, drill a hole in the bobber. After you get your hole drilled in the bobber, put you 3 or 4 BBs in the float. Then take some silicone and seal up your hole. Well, after you're done, you got you a bobber that rattles, and you know that's awesome. That's pretty cool. Bobber hack number 2. These right here are called demon dragons. Actually, this one right here is a demon dragon, and this one right here is a knockoff demon dragon, and it's called a mud bug. But I must say, the demon dragon has a much nicer paint job on it. Anyway, if you're a bass fisherman, you call this a spook. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what it is, a spook. But cat fishermen use these for peg floats. They just leave the hooks off of them. Know what I mean? But these things are buoyant. They're not quite as buoyant as a peg float, but they are buoyant. Now, the reason they use these over a peg float is because these, they rattle. Know what I'm saying? Well, if you prefer demon dragons over a peg float, you can buy these spooks off of Amazon, and they're just clear and they haven't been painted yet. I actually did a video about that one time, and I painted some, and I said on the old video that I would just use them clear because the colors don't really matter technically. A few people pointed out in the comment section, if you don't paint these, then they'll leak, and I never really thought about that. So if I was going to use these, I would paint them clear and use them. That's all I'm saying. But like 3 of these demon dragons are at least $5. It's been a while ago, but I bought 20 of these spooks that's unpainted for $20, which is $1 a piece. So you can buy demon dragons, or you can paint your own demon dragons and save money. That's all I'm saying. Hack number 3. I know you bass fishermen know what these are. These are glass rattles. Bass fishermen uses them to stick in their soft plastics to give it a little bit of noise. Well, I got to thinking. You see this peg float right here? You see that little black thing? That little black thing is for when you run your line through this peg float, you stick it in there so it don't move. I actually did a video about different peg floats and their buoyancy, and I showed them under the water and all kind of stuff. And this one won the buoyancy award. It's still up. I'm just showing you this clip so you'll know what they're for. And the reason people choose a demon dragon over a peg float is a demon dragon makes noise. But the reason other people would rather use a peg float is because it's more buoyant. What if you had the best of both worlds? You know what I'm saying? What if we took these little glass bass rattles, took that little stopper, and we get rid of it, then we stick our glass bass rattle in both ends to hold it on our line? Well, the results are going to shock you. This is our demon dragon. Here, this is our peg float with our bass rattles in it. It's like 3 times louder. And it's like 3 times more buoyant. So you get more sound and more buoyancy doing it this way. Ain't you glad I showed you that? Dang, I'm smart. I got this hack from Souders. He's a YouTuber / fisherman. He's got a real good channel. You should go over and check it out because I kind of feel bad about stealing this hack. Kinda. Bobber hack number 4. Now, something else you could do to replace this stopper if you don't need noise. Know what I'm saying? You can get these little tiny glow sticks offline. And I have seen them at Walmart before in the party packs. I mean, they're tiny. But instead of using a rattle as a stopper, you could just use a glow stick if it's nighttime, and you'd be able to see your bobber real good. You see what I'm saying? Look at that. Imagine this thing's just floating in the water. You could see it all over the lake. That's pretty cool right there. Bobber hack number 5. Most people have seen these weighted floats. And all a weighted float is a float with a piece of lead on the end. So when you throw it in the water, it floats right. Well, if you got a regular float and you need it to be a weighted float, you can do this yourself. Well, all you gotta do is get you a sinker. You take your sinker and you beat it flat with a hammer. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Once I get it flat, I take some sheet metal cutters. I cut me out a little piece of it about the width of a tie strap or something. Make sure there's some kind of groove on your float. But if it's smooth, you're most likely gonna lose it. But find your groove on your float. Take your needle nose pliers and start wrapping that thing around your float. You may have to trim it a little bit to get it to fit right. When you're finished, you done made you a weighted float, just like the weighted floats that you buy. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Hack number 6. This right here is called a popper float. This one in particular is called Cajun Thunder. I like it. But these popper floats, as you can see, are used for redfish, snook, trout, mackerel, and on and on. They even make these popper floats for catfishing. I'm pretty sure Whisker Seeker makes something just like this called like a Big Bertha or something. I don't know. I've never used them for catfishing, but I have made these before. Like 4 years ago, I used wine bottle corks and made popper floats. But you could actually make you a popper float just like this if you wanted to. As you can see right here, I made this one. The wine cork ones I made out of a softer stainless steel. You can actually twist it together and make the ends. But I really prefer using stainless steel weld wire. But the problem with weld wire is it is really strong and stiff. So you're gonna work a little harder bending this stuff. But you take your weld wire, you take you some pliers, and you bend out you a loop. Leave you a little extra on the bottom. If you do decide to use weld wire, you're probably gonna need you some crimpers like these right here, and they'll come with some crimps with it. Leave a little bit hanging off the end so you can put a crimp on it. Then you crimp it with your pliers, put you a couple beads on it, slide your float on it, then bend the other end. And when you're finished, you've made your own popper floats. Now here's an idea I thought I'd just throw in there. What if you add a rattle to your popper float? Know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. But really, especially with these crimpers, it ain't that hard to do. Bobber hack number 7. One of my favorite bobber hacks is you take a regular old bobber. You know what I'm saying? One of them regular old bobbers. Well, you push this out, clip it off with some pliers. Once you clip it off, it comes apart, and it's only 3 pieces of spring, the end, and the bobber. Then I take a paper clip, straighten it out, and put it back through it. You make the little hook on one end, and on the other end, you make a bigger hook. Because I used to use these to clip onto my line when I was carp fishing. And when you put that bigger hook in it like that, it can't clamp shut. Because if this thing clamps shut and it's on your line and you get a run from a big fish, it's gonna snap your line. If it's windy, I can put the tips of my rod in the water. You can hang one of these bobbers on your line. Then no matter how hard the wind blows, you'll know if it's a fish or if it's the wind. Bobber hack number 8. Now, something else that works great for a bobber is a cork from a wine bottle. You just drill a hole through the center of your cork. Once you get your hole drilled, you got yourself a cork. Believe it or not, a cork is just about as buoyant as a peg float. I even ran some tests and compared them against each other. But you know what the main difference in a peg float and a wine cork is? A wine cork is free. That's all I'm saying. Bobber hack number 9. Now, one of the simplest ways there is to make a bobber is to use a balloon. And the cool thing is, according to how big or how little you blow it up, you can change the size of it. All you gotta do is when you blow up your balloon and you're getting ready to tie, just tie you a swivel on to the end of it. And you can put a glow stick in a balloon and use it at night. That's pretty dang cool right there.
Why should you never give Elsa a balloon?
I don't know.
Because she'll just let it go, let it go.
Hack number 10. These right here are drill bits. And as you can tell, they're weird looking drill bits. Well, what these were designed for is making wooden beads. I put it in my drill press and I took some balsa wood and drilled it out. Basically made a wooden bead out of balsa wood. Well, it makes an excellent float. And I took a balsa wood dowel and I drilled both ends of it and made myself a peg float. A gigantic balsa wood peg float, is all I'm saying. But these drill bits right here are really interesting to use, and you can make some cool bobbers out of them, I'm just saying.
Hey, I got another joke.
No more jokes from you.
You not the boss of me.
Bobber hack number 11. I made a video almost 3 years ago where I took ping pong balls and I got some coffee stirrers, drilled holes through the ping pong balls, put the coffee stirrers in them, and super glued them on there. Well, they turned out to be some pretty awesome floats. I also used practice golf balls because they were cheaper than ping pong balls. Well, I got to thinking, what if you use craft balls? I mean, they're just styrofoam. You could take your coffee stirrer or some of these WD-40 straws that I bought off Amazon, which are really cheap and really tough. Shove your straw through the craft ball, and when you're finished, well, you'll have a float. And that's about as simple as it gets there. Then all you need to do is get you some craft paint or something and paint these things. You got you a cool little bobber, you know what I'm saying? Bobber hack number 12. Now, years ago, I made this little contraption right here. And all it is a little thin piece of threaded rod. It's got a nut on both ends. Well, I cut me out a piece of balsa wood, just a wood block. Drilled a hole through the center, and I put it on this contraption. Then I stuck it in my drill press. I used a rasp, kind of like a lathe, but a vertical lathe. You know what I'm saying? But after I cut it down with the rasp, I used sandpaper, cleaned it up. Well, one thing about balsa wood is you have to seal it. So I painted it black. This is the one that I made on that video. Actually works good too. I even put it on my peg float video where I tested all of those peg floats. But that is a way that you can make your own peg float. I'm just saying. Hack number 13. On this next hack, all you gotta do, get yourself a drinking straw. This is a really old hack, but it works really good for small hook finesse fishing. All you do is take the straw, you heat one end of it, then you take your pair of pliers and mash that in flat. Then you heat the other end, take your pliers, mash that in flat. Then you get something like a little nail or a pin, you heat it up, poke a hole through the flat part. But when you get finished with this, you've got yourself an excellent finesse bobber. What I mean by finesse, these little floats work really good for panfish.
How come you never hear jokes about drinking straws?
I don't know.
'Cause they suck.
You fired. Hack number 14. And of course, I can't leave out pool noodles because pool noodles make excellent floats. All you gotta do is cut you a section of it off, put your swivel on a tie strap, wrap it around it. Well, now you got your float for big fish. And the cool thing about pool noodles is they come in all different sizes. So you can make you a float as big as you want. But how you gonna see this thing at night? Bam, there you go. All you need is another one of those glow sticks. Just make sure you put your glow stick on the opposite side of your swivel, so when it's in the water, the glow stick will be sticking up.
Oh, I love noodle jokes.
Oh Lord.
How much does a 2,000-pound Chinese noodle weigh?
2,000 pounds?
1 ton.
Well, there you have it. 14 awesome bobber hacks that I know is going to help you. Maybe. If you enjoyed this video, then you should probably go check out this video because I'm sure you'll like it too. Maybe. But seriously, go check it out because this video is over.